It was a quiet morning in the city. People were walking to work, cafes were opening, and the air felt like any other normal day. But inside a small police station in downtown Houston, a decision was about to be made that would change the lives of several officers forever. 2 officers, known in the department for their harsh behavior, were patrolling the streets. They believed they were above the law, that they could act however they pleased, especially when dealing with civilians. What they didn't know was that their arrogance was about to catch up with them in a way they could never imagine. They spotted a woman standing calmly near a parked vehicle. She was composed, dressed in simple clothes, and they didn't recognize her. They assumed she was just another person they could intimidate. Without asking questions, they approached her with force. What followed was both shocking and disgraceful. One officer slapped her across the face, while the other pushed her, yelling at her to move along. People watched in horror, but no one dared to intervene. What the officers didn't know was that this woman wasn't just anyone. She was a high-ranking officer in the military police, and she wasn't someone who stayed silent. She returned, not in plain clothes, but in full uniform. And when she walked into that police station again, everything changed. Officer Daniels and Officer Blake were infamous, not for heroism, but for abusing their power. Complaints against them had piled up over the years, yet nothing ever stuck. They had powerful friends and knew how to manipulate the system. They typically targeted the weak, the ones who couldn't fight back. But this time, they had chosen the wrong person. When they had approached the woman earlier, they hadn't asked who she was or what she was doing. They simply assumed she was suspicious, perhaps homeless, perhaps a troublemaker. In reality, she was waiting for her husband, who was inside a bakery nearby. She stood next to a government vehicle with her official badge visible on the dashboard. But the officers didn't care. They acted fast, loud, and violently. The slap echoed like a gunshot. The woman froze in disbelief. When she tried to speak, Officer Daniels grabbed her arm and accused her of resisting. Officer Blake threatened her with arrest. Still stunned, the woman looked around. People had pulled out their phones. Some were recording, but no one stepped forward. Then she quietly said something that made both officers pause. "You just made the worst mistake of your lives." She walked away without yelling, without violence. Her silence wasn't weakness. It was control. It was power. The officers laughed, unaware that within hours their world would collapse. Later that day, the front door of the same station opened. The room fell silent as a woman in a dark green military police uniform walked in. Her posture was perfect, her expression serious, her eyes calm, but sharp. Behind her were 2 men from Internal Affairs. It was the same woman they had slapped earlier that day, now revealed to be Major Sarah Collins of the United States Military Police Corps. She walked directly to the captain's office. The Internal Affairs officers stayed behind to speak with others. The captain, confused, stood as she entered. She removed her cap, placed it on the desk, and calmly laid out everything that had happened. Daniels and Blake were called in. They froze when they saw her in uniform. At first, they tried to deny everything, but video footage from bystanders had already been submitted. The evidence was clear. The audio even clearer. They had no way out. They hadn't just assaulted a civilian, they had assaulted a decorated military police officer. And they had done it in uniform, representing a system they had now disgraced. Major Collins didn't raise her voice. She didn't insult or threaten. She simply said, "You will answer for what you've done, and this time, your badges won't protect you." News spread quickly. "Police officers assault military officer" became the headline across media outlets. Social media exploded with outrage. The videos went viral. People demanded justice. Politicians weighed in. The mayor released a statement promising full accountability. Major Collins, though at the center of the storm, stayed away from cameras. She refused interviews, believing the matter should be resolved through legal channels, not public outcry. Her silence only increased public respect. The officers were suspended, and the investigation grew. More people came forward with complaints from the past. 6 months later, the courtroom was filled with reporters, lawyers, and citizens. Daniels and Blake faced criminal charges: assault, abuse of power, and misconduct. But the trial became more than just a case against 2 officers. It sparked a department-wide reckoning. Internal Affairs launched a broader investigation. Dozens of past complaints were reopened. The police chief resigned. New policies and training programs were implemented. The most powerful moment came when Major Collins took the stand. She described the slap, the shame, the silence of the crowd, and how she chose not to retaliate with violence but to seek justice through discipline. Her testimony moved the courtroom. Even the judge paused before reading the verdict. Both officers were found guilty. They were stripped of their badges and sentenced to time in prison. But their punishment extended beyond the legal system. They became symbols of everything wrong with unchecked power. Major Collins, on the other hand, received the Medal of Civil Courage from the mayor. Not for striking back, but for standing tall with integrity. Her story became part of training programs across the country. She returned to duty stronger and more respected than ever. This isn't just a story about 2 bad cops. It's a lesson in integrity, a reminder of how quiet strength can shake corrupt systems, and proof that sometimes the strongest people are those who don't yell, who don't strike back, but who choose justice even when the system tries to silence them. Thank you for watching this powerful story of courage, justice, and redemption. If you were moved by Major Collins's strength and determination, leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Every like helps us tell more stories like this, so don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel Tiny Story, and click the bell icon to never miss another powerful story. Until next time, stay aware, stay strong, and always stand for what's right.